everyone. In today's video, I'll be discussing the time when I almost died because of my appendix rupturing. This is an incident that happened in the late 1980s in Kingstown, St. Vincent and The Grenadines, where I am originally from. My mother is in the background dictating what happened, and I'm basically asking some questions. All of a sudden, she will be camera shy, so she's not on camera. I don't remember much from that time period, obviously. And this is an incident that, like I said, almost killed me. And I feel that it's due to the lack of communication, lack of professionalism, and lack of care from the doctors in that time period. Obviously, we don't live there now, so we don't know how things are. But from stories that I've heard, not much has changed since then. So I hope you watch the video and I hope you enjoy it. If you've gone through a similar experience and you want to share, put it in the comment section. And also you're going to notice that there's a white fuzz in my hair. I did not notice that until after the video was done and I wasn't about to re-record it. So let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel. Why are you looking at me like that? Okay, this is my third time trying to record this video, so hopefully third time's a charm. Today I'm going to be talking about the time that I almost died when I was younger. So kick it off.
Yes, Juliana was almost 4 years old when she wasn't feeling well. My mother talking me into taking her to a guy because she thinks she might hurt her stomach and the guy will do whatever you do to fix it.
This was, let me interfere. This was back in the late 80s in St. Vincent.
Old fashioned.
So back then the older people talked about what he
thought your stomach drop and he got to put it back in place.
But who was the guy? Just an elder in the village?
Yeah.
Okay, and if you guys can hear my kids in the background, ignore that, please. Okay, so it was an older guy in the village.
And that didn't work. It wasn't feeling any better. So I said, I'm going to take you to the doctor, which I did. The doctor gave you something and then tell me that should make you feel better. Throughout the night, you was okay, but then I got up in the morning, I couldn't find you. There was nowhere to be found. When I found you, was under the bed on the hard floor sleeping.
But where did you put me to sleep?
On the bed with me. You was on the bed with me.
And I ended up under the bed.
Under the bed. Back those bed you could have go under back then. And I get you out and I asked you, what are you doing under there? You couldn't tell me why. And your stomach was very hard. And I get you ready and I said, I'm taking you back to the doctor because something not right. When I get there right away, she take one look at me. Oh, she look better than yesterday. I said, no, she's not. I said, something's wrong with her. I said, feel her stomach. He said, okay, I'm going to give you this letter to take her to Casualty, which is the hospital, but they would not keep her. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. I did not go back home and tell mommy anything because I didn't have time to waste. I just sent a message to mommy to tell mommy I'm taking you to the hospital. So I take her to the hospital. When I get there right away, they said they think they might have to operate. I said, well, I got to head back out country to get my baby because I have a young baby. And I'll be back. They say, we may not have time. You better sign this paper now before you go just in case.
And she didn't read the paper or anything. She just signed it.
Just sign the paper. They said I may have to operate.
Yeah, but you could have given them authority to do certain things and then they didn't and something happened.
Just in case they have to operate while I'm gone. And if they can't get hold of me, if that paper is not signed, they won't operate until I sign it.
And how far away? Because we lived in the countryside.
14 miles away. It's an hour.
An hour away. We're from Cedars originally in St. Vincent, and the hospital is in Kingston, which is the capital.
And then I have to come back to Glen, drop my baby off, and then take off into town. So I did that. By the time I come back, they're already operating you.
And how long was that?
The same day, I just go straight home, grab some.
So an hour to go home, another.
Grab Larissa, get a van, come back at Glen, drop her off at Glen, and take off.
So probably about 2 to 3 hours.
2 hours I'm gone already, yeah. And by the time I come back, they're already operating you.
And it turned out that my appendix had ruptured in me.
They didn't tell me that, but I assume that's what happened because you was coming out from, when I saw you, you was coming out from underneath the anesthesia. And you was telling me Frankie's hurting you. And I said, Frankie's not here. Why is he hurting you? But they said before you was singing, this new calypso that come out for Carnival, you're coming like a tiger shark.
Victoria Park, let me through. Victoria Park, I said let me through. Victoria Park, cause I'm coming like a tiger.
That's what the nurse them say you come out singing. You was, when you start to catch yourself, that's what they was singing. You're coming like a tiger shark, which I think was funny.
See, and I heard a different story growing up. That's why I didn't want to do this video on my own, because I heard that as soon as they did the operation and they took out the appendix and put it in the medical bowl, that's when it ruptured.
I don't know where that story come from because nobody tell me nothing.
I don't know. That's what I heard. I don't know where that came from.
They don't tell you anything in the hospital. Nothing.
And I had to do a second surgery.
Well, after I leave you that night, after you came out, I couldn't stay because I wasn't breastfeeding. I have to go home.
She wasn't breastfeeding me.
So you have to be breastfeeding in order to stay overnight in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go by my sister, and first thing in the morning, I will go back in and see you.
Mm-hmm.
So when on my way down in town, I get off the van and was walking down hospital. I met this nurse, and she called me by my last name and said, "Is your baby dead yet?" I said, "Do you mean to tell me that my baby might die and you guys tell me nothing?" I don't even know how I get back up to the hospital if I fly. But I get back up there. When I get back, visiting hours wasn't ready yet. I met a lady outside and I was panicking, and she asked me, "Are you looking for the little pretty brown skin girl?" I said, "Yes, she's not where I left," because I go to the back actually, and I could have seen through the window where you were. You wasn't there. Then I started to panic. And then she said, "Oh, visiting hours not yet." And that pretty little brown skin girl took sick last night. What she was throwing up was black, and a Chinese doctor rushed her back to the emergency room.
And you said you climbed up over the...
I go back around and I climb over a wall into the man wards and maneuver myself into the children ward. The nurse actually caught me and wanted me to leave. And I put up a fight. I said, "I'm not leaving." I said, "A nurse just meet me downtown and asked me if my baby's dead yet." I said, "You guys know my child might die and you guys didn't tell me anything and you want me to leave?" I said, "I'm not leaving, I want to see my child."
And they didn't even call or anything.
No. I give them my Miss Jones number,
but we had a house number.
We didn't at the time.
We didn't
at the time. So she finally take me to see, because I've been stubborn. I said, "I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving." So they take me where you are. When I go, it was like this thing wrap up.
The tubes and...
Taking your mouth with your mouth open. I said, "What is that?" Because she was biting up her mouth. So they put this, when the doctor testing your throat.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
Wrap two together and tape it up. And put it in your mouth up that way to keep your mouth open.
And I was cut all over. I have cuts on my legs.
They cut both. Because it was so skinny, they couldn't find a vein.
And I'm still like that to this day. Even when I go to the doctor and they're trying to pull blood, it's hard. They have to juke me all over to get...
So they end up shave one side of your head and stick the needle in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I grew up with a huge scar down the middle of my stomach. Like my stomach was literally cut in half. When your appendix is taken out, it's done on your side. But everything was done in an emergency situation, so they just cut me open.
I don't think you have the flesh was to go through that side. You was very thin. So I they didn't explain nothing to me. I assume that's why they go that area.
But I'm not the only one with that scar. Because I know other people who, as I got older, that have their appendix taken out and it's done through their stomach as well.
Well, maybe that's how they do it back then. Because that's how they do it back then.
No, this girl was in the late 90s, early 2000s.
And they do it that way.
And she has the same scar down the middle of her stomach.
I know, but anyway, that's what it was done. And after they rushed you back, you came back out there, and for how many days? I assume you was in a coma. Your eyes was like half open, it's not fully closed. You just lie there.
It was a coma. No one stays asleep for 10 days straight.
You wasn't moving, you just, all the talk, I'm talking to you, nothing. And I think about 11th day, you open your eyes, you smile at me, and you said something, and you slip right back into it.
And so in total, I was in the hospital for
21 days.
21 days. And when I woke up, I had to learn to do everything all over again.
Learn to walk again, like a CG. Like stand you up until you come. And you stagger to me pretty much.
Mind you, again, this was in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in the late 1980s. So I think about 88.
No,
because that's when...
Early.
No, Lars was born in 1988.
Yeah, late, yeah.
So
late,
it was...
Yes, late. Yes.
Early.
But anyway, they say you was the strongest child ever passed through that hospital.
After they almost killed me and expected me to die, basically. And the unprofessionalism, you're meeting someone in the town and you're asking...
Which they said she wasn't. They wanted to know who she was. I don't know her name.
They still wouldn't have done anything anyways.
No, they wouldn't. Because they said she shouldn't have told me. Something like that.
Correct. But they still wouldn't have done anything.
But I think the backwards there too, because before they even take her into surgery, they should have sit me down and talk to me and tell me what and what. They didn't say anything. All I know when I returned back, he was already had his surgery. He was coming out of it, he was fine.
And two different doctors operated.
Throughout the night, you have to go back into emergency.
The first doctor that...
He was a Bajan doctor, I heard.
And I'm assuming he wasn't there when the emergency situation came up again the second time. So that's why the second doctor had to operate.
Yeah, because he was operating in the evening and throughout the night, they got to rush it back. So, it was a Chinese doctor.
Crazy. That's who I heard about growing up. I never heard about the other
Yeah, the
two.
Bajan doctor is the one. I never met either one of them because you don't see nobody when you go there. And they don't tell you anything back home.
And they're still like this to this day. Maybe they've improved a little bit, but
they don't anything.
Communicate. People die nowadays still because of the unprofessionalism. They don't do things properly. They don't talk to you.
And all the time is sign this paper before you go because we may not be able to reach you. And if we have to operate, we cannot operate without this paper being signed. So it's a good thing I signed the paper because I've been
even though you didn't read it.
Well, even though I've been gone for 3 hours and something goes bad and they have to wait for me, you might have died.
No, I understand it. I'm just saying.
So I signed the paper. Well, I was in a panic and I was young. I was young. Because even when they tell me I gotta leave you, then I started to cry. And then I know I have to head back out to country. Because and then they didn't want me to stay the night.
And you see, the doctor that actually, back then, I'm not sure if it's the same like that. She couldn't go to the emergency without getting that paper.
The doctor have to give me a paper. The doctor that you see, there was an Indian female doctor, new there. She have to give me a paper because I just couldn't walk into the hospital with you.
Even if it's an emergency, so...
Well, she didn't think it was an emergency. She gave me the paper and she said they won't keep her. I'm going to give you this paper to take her, but they would not keep her.
See, so had she listened to the guidance of that doctor and kept me at home,
if I did go back home with
I would have died. Because once your appendix ruptures inside of you, if you don't get to the hospital like immediately, and back then, even to this day, just to get an ambulance, it takes a while to get to where you are, and then to get back.
It might take you 2 hours to get to the destination, you could die. Yeah.
So, that's the story of how I almost died, guys.
At the age of not quite 4.
I was almost 4. I turned 4 that year.
Yeah, that happened in August and you was 4 in September.
Yeah, about a month away or whatever.
Yeah, so you was 4.
So I've been here. I almost died. That's the story. I'm here.
And I'm sticking to it.
What do you mean you're sticking to it? There's no other parts to it, is there? Are we missing anything?
No, I'm joking. I'm joking with that part.
So
no, that's the story.
Yeah. So thank you guys if you've made it to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. I feel like we're forgetting something.
Like what?
I don't know, some little detail or something like that. Because growing up too, I heard that I fell down. That's why my stomach was hurting and all that.
Donette, I heard, mommy caught Donette trying to pull you up on daddy back porch. There was no stairs to go up there. So she was trying to pull you up. So mommy assumed.
That's why my stomach was initially
by
hurting.
dragging you up like that, maybe it hurt your stomach there.
But I don't think that's what caused the appendix to rupture. No, I think it's just something that happened.
You eat a lot of guava, and I think maybe the guava seed. There's a guava seed tends to rape appendix.
Really?
Yeah. There's a guava seed rape pea seed. in general. You can look it up. I don't know how true it is, but that's what I heard. Because you
Old time superstitions.
you used to eat a lot of guava.
Because we had the tree right there in the backyard.
You eat a lot of guava.
I don't know.
So I don't know. You should look it up.
I will. But I almost died for the unprofessionalism of the doctors in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but I'm here to tell the story. And to this day, things have not improved much. Still unprofessional, still don't talk to the patients like they need to. They don't discuss things. They don't explain anything. So
I don't know what that's
y'all need to improve, because I could have died. But I'm here. So if you guys made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Make sure to give a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.